Hey everybody, Josh Collacchi here with RotoCurve.com, and welcome back to another week of daily fantasy football on FanDuel, and we're going to get right into it, discussing Week 7 running backs. First guy I like this week is Todd Gurley, running back for the St. Louis Rams at just 7,400 on FanDuel. He faces the Cleveland Browns this week, which is pretty much a dream matchup for a guy like Gurley. Cleveland has allowed the most rushing yards in the NFL at just under 800 yards in 6 games. And since Gurley has returned from his injury, he's seen 2 games worth of a full workload, and he rushed for 160 yards and 146 yards, both those games coming against the Packers and the Cardinals. Now, for those of you that don't know, the Packers and the Cardinals are one of the best rush defensive teams in the NFL. So that's no easy feat for a guy like Gurley. And in both those games, the Rams were actually either close or behind, so that game could have been scripted either way. They're showing the fact that Gurley has been able to succeed in regardless of the game script and matchup. That makes him an even better value pick for this week against the Browns, who are the worst in the NFL against the run. So a guy like Gurley, he's starting to get his legs back from that injury from last year. He suffered at Georgia, and he has that great matchup. I think he makes for an excellent play in cash and in tournament games on FanDuel. Second running back is a guy that seems to have a tough matchup on the surface. We have to dig in a little bit, and that's Doug Martin for the Tampa Bay Bucks against the Redskins. When you look at fantasy points allowed, the Redskins are actually one of the better teams in the NFL in terms of allowing running back fantasy points. But if you dig deeper, they actually have been struggling a lot against the run. Of course, in volume, we look at fantasy points. They haven't allowed many, but you have to dig deeper and kind of look at what has been the issue. The first couple of weeks, not a lot of teams ran the ball much against the Redskins, so of course that volume number has been down. In terms of efficiency, the Redskins' defense has not been very good at all. They've allowed 4.3 yards per carry and 7.8 yards per catch to opposing running backs this season. Doug Martin's been a feature in this offense. As you can see, he's received 100 touches in 5 games. So that's 20 touches a game. And considering the fact the Redskins are allowing somewhere over between 5 and 6 yards per touch, if you get Martin those 20 carries, that brings him to about 120 total yards. At 7,200 on FanDuel, that's going to give him almost twice his salary in terms of value, and that's exactly what we're looking for. And that doesn't count any PPR points or touchdowns that he may score. So considering the fact that he has a really good matchup when you dig into it, the volume he's seen the past couple of weeks, and the fact that Bucs rushing attack has actually been very good, Martin makes for an excellent play, and I think he'll be lower owned because not a lot of people have read into the Redskins' defense being as poor against the run as you may think. The third guy is a bit of a value option, and I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting to see this guy for a few years, and that's Christian Michael, running back for the Dallas Cowboys. It finally might be time for Michael to see the field as a starter. Obviously, when he was with Seattle, he was going to be the guy that the torch was kind of passed on to from Marshawn Lynch. But he never really got a hold of the playbook. He never really got much playing time. Ended up losing time to Robert Turman and, of course, Thomas Rawls, who's there now. But Michael's in Dallas, and, of course, the 2 running backs ahead of him, Darren McFadden and Joseph Randle, have struggled a bit this year. And the Cowboys need some punch in that offense without Des Bryant in the lineup, and of course Tony Romo going down to a collarbone injury. So looking at beat writers this season, looking at the last few weeks since the Cowboys had a bye last week, it seems that Michael may get a shot to start this week. We've seen some of the coaches say that it's time for the reins to be loosened from Michael, and that's good news in terms of fantasy. Now, the other 2 running backs are still there in Randall and McFadden, and they're going to command touches. But considering Michael might be the guy that sees the bulk of the touches eventually, he's something to look at. And for this week, I think he's just a tournament play because we don't know how exactly the touches are going to be split up. But keep an eye on that situation. This week, the Cowboys do face the Giants, who have given up at least 18 FanDuel points in each and every game so far this season. So he does have a good matchup. And if we see some news that he's going to be the starting back and he's going to get a chance to shine, he makes for an excellent play at just 5,600. That wraps up our running back segment for this week, so be sure to give us a thumbs up so we can continue to bring you analysis each and every week. Check out RotoCurve.com for free tools, analysis. There's a great community of players. There's data for almost anything you can imagine, so go over there, check it out. It's all free, and let's hopefully give you some information to make this week and the rest of your weeks a profitable one in daily fantasy football. Good luck, everyone.